to not go out there and think, I'm going to just, get the puck in Connor and Leon's hands all the time. I'm going to go out there and do what I need to do as well. And that's so important when you're playing with those two guys, and it's very difficult.
We'll move on from him and go up the lineup one slot to Andrew Mangiapane, who, this time last year we were all excited about Skinner and Arvidsson, and it just never worked. It was a little square peg round hole-ish. But what makes Mangiapane potentially a better fit in this lineup? He's looked great so far.
He's a really interesting character, and I think he as well is looking for a little bit, and he was suppressed in Washington. And the one thing you got to really take note of in Washington here, we're working great with the lineup they had and the line combinations they had, and he got kind of suppressed down the lineup, but he played a vital role there on a very, very good team in the regular season. Now, I think the breaking of the record by Ovechkin, he had the assist on the tying goal. He talked about that on After Hours Saturday, which was an incredible thing. But it was pretty hard to ride that wave all year long and then get ratcheted back up again. I think it was almost the peak of the season for them. But the thing about Mangiapane that I like is that he said it too also Saturday, that he's always kind of been an underdog. He's always been one of those undersized underdog guys that's had to always fight for his time and fight for his place. And I don't think he ever loses that or ever will lose that. And that's what makes him what he is. That compete inside, that drive, that chip on your shoulder, whatever you want to call it. I'd say Brad Marchand has that too. You look back when Brad Marchand started his career, he had to chisel away and battle to what he became and is in the NHL now. And he still has that chip on his shoulder. And that's what drives him and makes him a competitive spirit. And I see that in Mangiapane. I really do. Also, I see a guy that's a worker bee. He's got an engine that has a reservoir big. He can go for good times at a high level. He can hunt pucks down, and I think that's what they wanted to do on that top line. He's excited to play up there. I think he's been around long enough in the game, 500th game on Saturday night, for him to know to not go out there and think, I'm going to just get the puck in Connor and Leon's hands all the time. I'm going to go out there and do what I need to do as well. And that's so important when you're playing with those two guys, and it's very difficult. But I think and again, I want to say undersized, a smaller guy, he's tenacious. He's got a bite. He's got a bite to his game. He'll get to the dirty areas. He can take up space in a different way than, say, a Trent Frederick or a Zach Hyman. But he's got the finish. He scored 35 goals in this league. And I think, when you look back, he scored in the opener 3 of the last 5 years. And when he gets on a roll some of those years, he had 15 goals here. He had 35 in the first 2 months. I think he wants to continue it. You talked about Arvidsson and Skinner last year, Ty. Didn't really work out. Already, we've seen him make some plays and do some things that you go, okay, you know what? This is the Andrew Mangiapane we saw in Calgary. This is the tenacious little water bug guy that was a thorn in the side of the Oilers, and that's why they're happy to have him on their side. So, I wish him nothing but the best. He's a good kid. I think he really wants to go out there and do well on that line. He's motivated. I think he's got the jam to go out there and do what needs to be done. I'm really interested to see how he does with them tonight, because I think he's going to do well, but you never know until you really give it a good shot and see how it works out. Trent Frederick down the third line, center, back in the center position, which is where I think a lot of us thought he was going to start the year. Get his feet moving, a big guy might get him a little more motivated to kind of drive a line a little bit instead of being, I don't want to say passenger on the top line, but you've got to react off those two guys. And sometimes that can be more difficult when you're used to being the guy that goes out there and is handling the puck a little bit more. So some changes in the lineup, and I think that's important early in the season for Chris Knobloch too, to see kind of what mix you have. And I think it's also a little foreshadowing, guys, as you've preempted. There's guys that are trickling back into the lineup here, and they're going to be for the next couple of weeks. So there's some decisions that are going to need to be made.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered, from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.